That's right, folks. Live from Free Admissions, this is the Gym Crashers with me, Joey the Bull, Dondo, and our special guest, Joe Marino, brother.
He likes that.
Was that good?
That was good, man.
Like my trap? I got some big traps.
Can you do that
Them
again? That
traps.
sounded really good.
Do it one more time. Joe Marino.
He just blew his shorts out.
I think I did. Whoa. Sorry, man.
How'd you get those great traps, Joey? Just flipping tortillas, or you know?
I'm gonna flip your face right now, freaking Dukes of Hazzard. Look at both you bone Luke over there. It's the good old boys. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Doing good, man. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Love to have you, brother.
Man, I mean, look at. I mean, his arms are almost big as mine.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Getting there.
But Joe, you've ran a fitness. I forget what we called it. It was something. Strength and conditioning.
Right.
There's the term, and that was at a next level when I first came into contact with you. What have you been up to since?
Well, what I've been up to since, and you know, Robert knows the story about what happened. You know the story about what happened, stuff like that. After that happened, we kind of sat around and decided, were we going to sit there and continue with this? Because we were working, 12, 13, 14 hours a day. That was my third facility.
Wow.
I just happened to move into that one because I thought that it was going to be a better deal.
Yeah.
But long story short, after that happened, I decided to get back into my comfort zone, and that was bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. And, we didn't want to rebuild, even though we did have the resources. We were offered the resources to go in and rebuild, and, with investments, stuff like that, and we were just too tired. It's like, I'm done. I didn't want to deal with it anymore, and, for almost 15 years, dealing with clientele. I loved it, don't get me wrong, but it was mostly college. It was high school, college, and NFL athletes, and we did a lot of NFL combine training as well. So it wasn't bodybuilding, like when it's kind of shifted a little bit from where I was. Even though I've been training athletes for over 20 years, at that time was, I was done. But since then, I got back into bodybuilding. It's been 2 years now?
At least
2 years now, and I went right back into training. I didn't miss a beat, and 9 months, was it 9 months after that? Pretty much almost 10 months after that, I went back 100% into it and competed and won the California State Championships.
Whoa!
After not competing for 13 years.
That's unreal.
So now it's been 100% all along.
Uh-huh.
And I should say, let me qualify that. It was the Masters contest, but even in the I did compete in the Open and took fourth. So I was really happy with that because the guys won. I'm not a young competitor, even in the Masters because it's 40 and up, and I was 56. So I was still beating guys in Masters that were 16 years younger than me. And in the Open, I was beating guys that were, 20, 30 years younger than me.
Wow.
So, and that's where it's been at for the last since then. That's my life. That's what I've been doing. I have my apparel company. I still do my online training. But we've been very successful at both of them. So it allows me to go in and train and eat and sleep and do whatever I need to do to turn pro, which is the goal in 9 weeks. So I'm 9 weeks out from my show right now.
That's pretty amazing.
So
that is amazing. I mean, if you guys look this guy up, see some of his pictures. I mean, believe it or not, under this shirt under here, this guy's a beast. I mean, I can't take off my shirt because I'll be censored on my boobies. But I'm pretty sexy with the tank top on from the front. But I turn sideways, just a big old gut just hanging out.
Kool-Aid, come on,
yeah,
Kool-Aid.
But that's cool, man.
Imagine
I mean,
how long it would
you're
take
back
him to take his shirt off. Just
yeah,
cloth and cloth and cloth.
So back in you're saying you're back in competition again,
right?
Now, are you running into some of your old school guys that used to compete back in the day, like your Jay Cutlass and all those guys that used to compete?
Well, I never competed against Jay.
Oh, never?
No, because I'm not a pro. Those guys were all
they're
pros.
Okay.
Those guys are all pros. I had my shot back in the 80s and stuff like that when I was still competing a lot, and but I made a lot of bad mistakes, and and things just kind of went the other way, and I didn't have the focus that I should have had. But if I would have known then what I know now, I would have been a retired bodybuilder. I would have been a retired pro.
I'd be retired on Apple. I'd have bought a bunch of stock.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you hear that a lot. Unfortunately, there's some guys that I used to, not really look up to. When I was trying to get back in the gym to start working out myself,
right.
like Rich, when he unfortunately passed away, was how many years ago it's been already?
You have about Piana?
Yeah, Piana.
It's been about 2.5 years, about 2 years.
And the guy was a beast. I never bought his stuff, but he was just, gulping down this stuff and just working out like crazy. And I was thinking, man, I want to kind of look like him. He had that big structure, a big upper torso, just everything was huge. I'm like, and then next thing you know, you unfortunately hear, stories of him and the way he went out was just a bad way.
But what is taking something like his supplements for a big guy like you? You don't need to put on size. You need to lean out and put on muscle, right? So you don't want to take that kind of stuff. Am I wrong?
It depends on what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he was selling food supplements.
Okay.
To get where he's at takes a lot more than food supplements.
I would think.
So if he comes up there and says, you're going to look like me, if you're going to take this shit, you're going to look like me. It's like, really?
It's not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah. No.
So, and that's a big misconception in the supplement industry too.
Oh yeah.
So.
Really, Joe? A guy like me can't look like you? Well,
just take a lot of protein.
Keep eating, bro.
Yeah.
Just keep eating, man. You're still a growing boy, man.
Yeah. Hang out with me and Robert, you'll get there.
Okay.
We're professional eaters.
Yep.
It's a fact.
I am too, except just in the other way. Just, the whole lifestyle is about eat, sleep, train, and when I'm not training, I'm eating. When I'm not eating, I'm eating, and so if I'm eating 6 to 7 times a day, that becomes your lifestyle. It's
so
like clockwork.
What's the caloric intake? Not to interrupt, but I got to know. What are you taking in to keep this physique?
Well, right now I'm basically in a cutting phase right now. So right now I'm at about 2,750 calories, and it's all broken down into macros that's going to fit my body and stuff like that. But in the off season though, it doubles. So I'm up right around, sometimes 5,000 calories a day. So right now I'm walking around about 220, and in the off season I'm about 250. And I'm 5'6", and honestly it's a miserable existence when you're 58, almost 58 years old, but I chose to do this. Like I tell everybody, you choose to do something, you got to, it's what you got to do.
Yeah, and we'll probably bring this subject up later about Ronnie Coleman, but
sure.
But you see him when he's getting ready to work out, and I remember watching his video, his documentary, where he has this big thing of just chicken, and he loved his chicken, and that's all the guy ate was just massive, just food and protein.
Chicken and barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Now,
that was the best scene.
With you, what is your daily routine? What do you eat, basically? Do you eat the same amount of food that he does, or do you eat a little different?
Well, no. I mean, Ronnie even on stage was a 290-pound bodybuilder.
Yeah.
On stage, I'm 205.
Jesus.
210.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a big difference there. And Ronnie's a genetic freak.
Oh yeah.
Let's put it this way: anybody who steps on an Olympia stage or is at that level, you're at the top 1% of the genetics in the world. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make any difference how much you eat, how much you train, how much gear you take. You're not going to look like that. No. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
And but when you're talking about Ronnie Coleman, you're separating yourself. You're separating what was the best in the world, and from, like, say, a Dorian Yates, who was Ronnie's predecessor, to Ronnie, and that was a huge transition because it was Ronnie who basically knocked Dorian Yates out of, I'm not going to say knocked him out of competing, but but he's the one who, Dorian was the original mass monster. Then here comes Ronnie at 5'10", weighing 300 pounds, absolutely shredded on stage. I mean, pictures don't even justify him unless you've really seen him in person.
I mean, especially you've seen his back pose. That was like his famous pose. Like his back was just like, wow, that's just nuts.
But the thing is, though, is even when you see him, he's 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Every way you see him, it's freakish. It's cartoonish.
Exactly. So as a competitor on stage, now I normally see these videos on YouTube when you guys are doing pose offs.
Right.
And do you ever get like the bump and grind where guys are going to get in front of you, you guys are just bumping each other off stage?
That's usually in pose downs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get a little physical?
I don't know about physical. It's not, it's not like it's, in the pros that happens a lot because they get more time on stage.
Yeah.
Right. You got, say for example, in a pro show, you might have, anywheres from 20 to 25 guys in a pro show.
It's like stacked.
And and in an amateur contest, you might have, let's say in my class, there might be 20, 30, 40 guys in one class. Mm-hmm. The Olympia is just one class. You got two classes really. You got the open class, you got 212 class. But thing is, they give you more time on stage because you're a pro. And so if you go to an amateur show and stuff like that, there's so many different classes. You got women's divisions, you got physique divisions, you got classic physique, you got this, and pretty soon you got 300 people in the contest in different divisions. So even though each contest is its own separate entity, you still have to move those people through.
Yeah.
So you only get a minute to pose.
Oh, jeez.
So it's not a whole lot of time.
No,
and
it's not.
even on during the pose down, it's not a whole lot of time either.
Yeah.
Even though you want to kick some people off stage because they get in your way.
Yeah, of course.
You just don't have enough time.
Dang,
And
that's
then
crazy.
how
So-
much does like that specific event kind of like play into, I guess, the judging and scoring? Because I feel like if like it was weighted more, then it would like make sense why everybody's trying to get their screen time or trying to get their their
Right.
pose off their time that everybody can look at them.
Yeah. Well, the contest is really, if you're talking in the amateur sense, the judging is done in the morning.
Okay.
Most of the judging is done in the morning. If it's really, really close, they might have an extra judging round at night, but it doesn't happen very often. Now in the pros, they do judge in the afternoon or at night. So you got your mandatories that are in the morning, and then you go through your little routine. Then at night you come back for your night show if you made the top 10, for example. Right. So
Is this in pros or?
This is in the pros.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in the pros. So for example, if you I'm trying to think here. If there's 25 and you made the top 10, it's more than likely that's when you're gonna come back at night, and that's when you're gonna do your posing. Is at night. Those top 10.
Okay.
So not to throw the subject. So I've noticed your shirt there,
Right.
Joe Local. Is that what this is? Now is this your what? Bring up the logo. What's Joe Local all about?
So what this is all about is this is one of the things I've had this in mind for a long time, and because of the business that we had, our training business, I really never really thought about taking it off, but I've always had the idea. So when the business went away, this was one of the things that I wanted to start doing. And basically what it is, being from Huntington Beach and being here all my life, I'm a local.
There you go.
Joe Local. So what I wanted to do is I didn't want to really make any fitness wear or anything like that. You call it more active wear, but it's more casual wear than anything, just because the fitness industry, it's the fitness clothing and that whole apparel thing in the fitness is just it's just oversaturated.
Yeah, glorified. Like
Yeah.
every YouTuber you could look at it, all of them have
But
the
cool
same
logos.
line.
Look at Joe stuff. I
Yeah,
love that.
we got some other stuff that's going to be coming up too, and
I dig it.
yeah,
That's very like our style too. Like when you're down here, like any near beach town, it's like I would see people wearing stuff like that.
I agree.
yeah, and that was basically the whole premise. Is just we wanted something that was going to be that was going to represent Huntington Beach well.
Yeah.
And
I thought the little coconut was part of the shirt, but that's your beer holder.
that's my beer holder. Man.
I thought that too,
right.
I
actually.
want the coconut
No,
t-shirt.
man.
Yo, that was
No, man.
cool.
That coconut's attached to my cruiser.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
Looking
That's
good,
awesome.
man. I love the hat.
Thanks.
So where can they go when they want to go buy your shirts? Is you have a website or something like
JoeLocal.shop.
that? There you go.
That's it.
JoeLocal.shop, folks.
And we need to work on the site a little bit, but everything. Yep. And we got things that are. I got about 12 more things that are going to be coming up too. I have an idea that I'm working on right now. That we're working on right now.
Prices.
More of a Patriot type
Oh,
thing.
cool.
That
4th of July is coming, brother.
with 4th of July, and I'm thinking bounce things around in my head, 2A and stuff like that, cover our Second Amendment, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Buy one of those shirts, you end up looking like Joe.
Oh, really?
Shredded.
Walking in with like 20 different shirts.
well, yeah, that's the whole thing. If you, this shirt here, this shirt here is probably about a year old, and we wash it and wash it and wash it, and it won't fade, and it still holds its form.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not a cheap ass shirt, cotton, where you're gonna go put it in the, you're gonna put it in the washer or the dryer, and just gonna shrink up.
It looks good too, like in terms of like guys with like broad shoulders.
No, it does. That's
Shit.
That's the reason why I got
I
a
worked
shirt
in a
from
retail
Joe.
store,
Like I
John.
said,
I know how to talk clothes.
so by the time October comes around, I'll be looking shredded in that nice Joe Loco shirt.
Get you down to a
There you go.
3X.
Well, give me a 3X, and then it's like, I can't wait to wear it, man.
That means you got goals.
I got goals.
That's that motivation
Yeah.
you're giving
Joey's
him,
got a
Joe.
fight coming up October 4th. Are you announcing that yet, Robert? It's coming.
Not yet.
Not yet?
yet.
Okay.
I haven't talked to Adam about it.
Oh, well, we're trying to find his competitor.
But just because I want to wake Adam up a little bit, I did make a video today. Hopefully, we'll play that later on.
Hopefully, Robert will play it.
It's a video I sent to you guys earlier.
I
Just
pity the fool.
It wasn't not pig the fool. It was a simple, fun video, and me talking my smack to Mr. Adam Woods. So,
Play it right now.
It was.
oh, he's gonna play right home.
Oh, it's a hype video.
Adam, if you want to check this out, here's a little message from me.
That's
from
right.
last week. Let's see if we get this thing going.
Joey the Bull coming right up.
What's that? Roll this beautiful bean footage.
Uh-oh. Skinny.
I'm talking a lot of shit.
Oh, let's rewind.
Let's rewind and play the sound. Let's just.
Let's just make sure the sound's
I'm
on.
trying to hear.
Here we go. What did Joey say?
Adam Woods, baby. This is all you, baby. All day. Adam Woods is you, baby.
Nah, it's a little slow right here. It's just I'm warming up, wearing my Ali shirt, and it builds up after like the second shot after here because I had a little music in the background, a little fast in the speed bag.
You gotta get that other hand going.
I love how the guy in the back like looked
Yeah, I
at
will, I will.
Demon.
Hell, was that Tiki in the back?
That was Tiki Dillo.
Peace.
There you go. There you go.
I'm hungry. Man, 450 pounds of pure loving right there. That's what I'm talking about.
Jesus.
It's a little warning,
You ain't
Adam
flipping
Woods.
tortillas for nothing.
I don't
Like,
flip-
Yeah.
look at that.
flip
Look at that
tortillas all day.
speed.
Look at these fast
Look
hands.
at that. The tortilla flip.
Hey, John.
What's that?
Sunday, October 4th?
Sunday, October 4th, Joey the Bull versus the Invisible Man at the moment.
Yeah,
Where
I
at?
mean, I did try to text him to say we're still doing this. He told me to call him back. So hopefully we will talk a little later after the show or sometime tomorrow when he says, yes, let's make this happen. We're doing this little charity event. You know, he has his podcast called According to Which. Much respect for that guy. He has a great podcast show himself. But there was a day when I was talking about Mike Tyson, and then he responded back to me, and we
Happy
started
birthday
talking
to the
trash.
goat, by the way.
Are you willing to go kickboxing or just straight boxing?
You know, I can go kickboxing. My legs can't take kickboxing, but I mean, I can lift my legs.
Be nice.
You're a jerk.
Will you be willing to let Adam kick your legs out from under you, though?
If he can try. I mean, have you seen my tree trunks?
I've seen him.
Where's the venue?
Right here. Dello Jiu
There you
Jitsu.
go,
here,
at this
here.
facility.
Stand in
Yeah.
California, got a ring downstairs.
Well, we had a gentleman. I'm not sure his name was whatever, but he put out that he wanted to donate $1,000 to our charity,
That's a great one. 1,500, buddy.
and then a $500 to the loser.
Oh.
So I
Is
had
that pesos or dollars?
So I had a couple of charities I was thinking about, and mine is because I love rescuing dogs, and my thing's about dog rescue.
You rescue dogs?
I have 2 Chihuahuas at home that I rescue.
I had no idea.
One was a little handicapped, little leg was tweaked out, got a little water therapy, and now she's walking fine. The other
guy.
one is was going to be sent to a pound because the older lady couldn't take care of her at her home. So we have 2 little babies at home.
Are they outside dogs or inside
They're
dogs?
inside. They're trained.
Oh, so you roll over.
Oh no!
You gotta rescue the dog.
and and believe me, they sleep in bed, and believe me, the
I'm
action.
staying out of that one.
Honey, rescue the dog!
It's in my belly button.
Yo quiero Taco Bell!
My 2 lovely girls, Roxy and Zoe. Love you, babies. You watch? I know my wife's watching. So that means my girls are watching too.
Oh,
Does that
I'll
mean
be
that
nice.
The dog thought he was a kangaroo?
oh, and your little pouch.
My little pouch.
Joey the marsupial.
Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about donating the money to. So
Just imagining Joey just hopping around his house with his little
Joey,
dogs.
it's Joey Exotic.
But yeah, that's the reason why I'm trying to get back to the gym, trying to work out again, trying
Good for you, Joe.
at least trying to cut down. God, please, 50, maybe 100 pounds if I start smoking
Well,
crack.
we're looking at all of July, August, September. That's 3 months. You do 20 pounds a month, you'll at least be 60 down.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then I'll be
That's
able
a
to see my own
reasonable
penis
number.
one day.
That's a big number,
That's a
really.
big number.
You're looking at more like 12 pounds a month.
Well,
Right? What do you think, Joe? You tell us. You're the
Well, if I go back to keto, because like my wife, she's been great. Actually, when I first got on keto a year ago, I lost about a good 40 pounds within
I noticed right
about
away.
3 months.
That's at least like six chihuahuas.
No, 4 months. That's without eating carbs, just eating the lettuce and the meats and the lettuce and the freaking fish and lettuce and everything else that's lettuce with protein.
Okay.
You know, then what happens, holidays came around, Christmas and all that stuff, Thanksgiving, all that.
Put it right back on.
Put it right back on.
Happens.
I mean, I have my thoughts about keto.
Well,
I want to hear it.
there you go, I want to hear.
Share 'em,
You're the show for a
Joe.
reason. What's better than that? I like macros, but I want to hear more about what you
But
got to say.
I gotta stay away from tortillas and bread. That kills me the most. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. No, you can have the thing. You can have that stuff. Okay. The thing I don't like about keto, right, is that when you're training, let me put it this way: a guy like you could probably get away with it for a while. Then after that, once you start dropping, then you start using your muscle for energy. You don't want to do that. So if you start using your muscle for energy and you're on keto, what's going to happen? Right, you have no energy.
Yeah.
So what does muscle feed off of?
Carbs.
Carbs and fats, right? So if you cut off your carbs and fats, right, and let's say you go down and you train, and you're training, right, what are you using for energy down there? You're not using carbs and fats for energy, you're using glycogen. So once the glycogen is gone from your muscle, then you start feeling like shit.
It cannibalizes.
So,
Yeah.
right, so for example, with my football players, so I have my 5 linemen, stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right, they're on the field every day, they're in the weight room every day. I'm not going to put them on a keto diet because they won't have enough energy to get through the workout, even though they're big and they think they're feeding off the fat. They're really not feeding off the fat. They're using their glycogen in the muscle for energy. So when they start feeling like shit by the end of it, you know, they're not going to be able to do that.
You know, it's funny you say that because before I started this keto, I was actually seeing a nutritionist, and she told me, look, you can still eat your tortilla, you can still eat your bread, just make sure you double up on the protein and the vegetables. So the one tortilla I have must have more vegetables and protein. That's what she told me.
So I'm going to give you an easy calculation.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to give you an easy calculation that you can follow. Okay, you're going to have to do a little work on the side though. Okay, so you take your body weight, times that by 9. That gives you your entire total caloric intake for the day. Take that caloric intake, right? Take your body type and break that down into your macros. Everything is about being measured portions. Okay. It's not about, you know, if you take in 4,000 or 5,000 calories worth of meat a day and no carbohydrates, you're still not going to lose weight.
Wow.
Okay, so there still is a calorie deficit that you still have to go by. Otherwise, you know.
And I believe you're saying like the whole muscle thing, and you get sloppy, you get slumpy, and all. I get it. I just didn't realize it was that bad. I mean, like I said,
it's not. Everybody complicates it.
Yeah.
Don't complicate it.
Okay.
You know, and if keto works for you, that's great. But understand, once you start getting down to a little bit lower to where you need to be, then you start losing energy.
Oh, jeez, that's not good.
No.
You need all the energy you can get, Joe. Just get upstairs. I don't want to see you collapse. Okay?
Man, this is a brutal group, man.
It is. It's a
Well,
tough
I mean,
show.
these stairs are hard sometimes. You know, I mean, there's times where I go up 2 steps, I'm already dying.
You don't want to be behind him when that happens.
If Lauren wasn't watching, we'd be a lot meaner.
Oh, yeah. I'm being kind because I was yelled at earlier, so.
That's why I came late. No,
That's why you came late?
No, but I just said I want to lose all this weight because I can see my own penis one day. I can't see shit.
I know you can't see it, but it's
I
there.
look down, all I see is my
It's
toes.
got to be there. The turtle is there. But, Joey, tomorrow's the 1st of the month, July 1st. Let's do July, all of us. I think Skinny Guy that's running the show, too. July 1st to August 1st. Just put things in order. Kind of utilize what Joe has just taught us and see where we end up in 1 month. And from there, we'll go the next.
Yeah.
I think that's important. We didn't bring him here to not affect our lives. The man's here giving us advice.
I try to.
We should take that. Joe Local, he's Huntington Beach guy. My homeboy. I like that.
Yeah, 'cause you're from HB, right?
I born and raised.
Yeah, over there, Sean.
So is Sean, 2 doors down.
I was born and raised in Santana, and then now I live
We
in Lake
know.
Forest.
That's why you love your tortillas.
I love my taquerias. Oh, when it comes down to go back home, it's so cheap. I mean, you try to buy a taco in Lake Forest. Oh my God, it's like $10 over here in Santa Ana. It's like $2.
True.
They're $1 now, man. It's COVID time. Everybody's got Taco Tuesday all day, every day of the week now.
My tacos come on Sunday, man.
Woo.
I got my cheat days on Sundays.
Oh man, see, I didn't eat my
That's
cheat
it.
day. Damn.
Okay, so you mentioned times your body weight times 9,
Right,
and then your body type.
right.
That's 450 pounds. How do you times that? Jeez, that's a lot of.
That means you could take.
You
in
think
quite
it's a
bit.
lot. You think it's a lot of calories, but what you're doing is you still are using your body weight. So
Okay.
So if we go, right. So if we just hypothetically go, how active are you throughout the day?
Behind a desk all day. Climb up the stairs once in a while from where I work.
He walks from
Okay, so you're still at 4,000 calories.
his office,
which
to his
isn't
office.
which isn't that much for you. Okay, for me, I'd put on a ton of weight for it.
Wow.
Okay,
Oh, I'll die.
but you got to remember the calories. You got to remember though the calories that you're putting. That it takes a lot more calories for you to get around than it does for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just an example. Plus your whatever you're doing as far as exercise and
He's gonna
stuff
start.
Like that.
No, I am. I got to start. I got to make.
gotta
this,
start.
I got to make this fight happen. I want to sure I look beautiful in the ring and
Yep.
not too many jigglies going on when I'm bouncing because I want people.
It legitimize you, Joe. You be the real deal. You take a fight.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's
I
about.
got fast hands.
I got to see this.
Um,
I have a question about like calorie, just
Oh,
kind of.
we're getting back to Joe. Let's hear it, Adam.
And
Sure.
like calorie like use, because one of the things my coach told me in terms of like for me to gain weight, that I thought was like interesting that I kind of started doing more. I'm like,
For you, it'd be times 20 or 22.
yeah, it'd be times a lot. But like one of the things he mentioned was eating consistently at the same times. Like, how much does like eating at certain times can affect your like weight gain or weight loss?
Okay, so you're talking about meal timing.
Yeah.
And some people disagree with it. I don't. I think meal timing is essential because what you want to do is when you take in your meals let's say for example, if Joey here is going to eat, right? He still has to eat. And he still has to meal time, right? So if he's meal timing, he still has to. For him, you want to suppress insulin, because insulin is a fat storage hormone. For you, you want to increase insulin. So eating. So for example, how much do you weigh?
I weigh 145.
Okay.
He's 6'4".
6'2". But yeah.
Right, so you want to take it. So this is what he wants taken to gain weight, almost what you're taking in to lose weight.
Wow.
Okay, so what you want to do, right, is you want your carbohydrates to be double what your protein intake is.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, and the reason for that is because you want insulin release.
Yeah.
You got to have that insulin release from the pancreas. So you always want to have that going on.
No, that does like make sense because like the common like all me and my friends can eat like me, him.
I
all
don't
the
believe
skinny
either of
guys.
you. You're both
How old are you though?
120.
I'm 20.
Yeah, you're young,
He's a
man.
baby.
You're
I
young.
can eat, but it's like the problem we always run into is like what you're saying. It doesn't stick. Like we'll all just in one hand out the other, like as much as we want to eat.
right.
Like,
Mudslide.
It depends on what you eat too. With you
Yeah.
guys, I mean, I don't,
They're
eat-
loaded, dude.
Yeah.
They eat good.
Yeah,
Trust funders.
If you eat good, man, there's also nothing wrong with you. You guys can be slipping in a couple fast food meals a day too, if you want.
Couple. Don't tell that to Robert.
Because
Make him
the whole
jealous.
idea for you guys want to keep your weight.
because I relatively just all I can make is chicken and rice, so that's why I stick to 9 times out of 10.
Dude, that's my diet.
Yeah,
That is literally my diet.
it's like
Brown rice, white rice.
It depends on where
Okay.
you're at. We just switched over because I'm 9 weeks out. I just switched over to brown rice because of the glycemic index.
Okay.
Because it gets in and out of my system real
High
quick.
fiber. Is it more fiber
So
than
for
white
someone
rice?
like me, I would want to be consuming more
really
white.
not much difference. No. No. I'm sorry?
So for someone like me, I'd be wanting to consuming like more white rice, like you were saying, for it to consume.
Yeah,
that
because you
glucose.
want to keep. Yeah, you're looking at a higher glycemic food
Okay.
that you want to take in, right? So you can get away with that stuff.
Yeah,
And
so
plus
like
you're doing jiu-jitsu too, right?
Yeah, I'm doing full MMA. So
You're doing how many times a week?
if I'm not working, pretty much every day I have off, so like 3 to 4 times.
How long each day?
It could be an
Hours.
hour to hour and a half,
Yeah, so
along
30
with like trying to get lifting sessions in between if I'm not like
It's
feeling
good
up
to
to
be
go
young,
live.
Joe. It's good to be young.
Yeah,
You can do it all
yeah.
day long. Look at
Jeez.
him.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it, man.
that's the thing too. Is you and there's nothing wrong with you can even go beyond this 3,200 calories I just calculated, and get away with it. It's just a matter of your body getting used to it,
Yeah.
and that's really about it.
Yeah.
Now you
Was
mentioned
I-
9 weeks out. So what are you talking about 9 weeks out?
9 weeks out is my pro qualifier.
Wow.
So I've been dieting since, I was dieting for a show in July. Then this whole pandemic thing started.
I agree with that.
Right, started, and I started dieting at the end of January. And when I started dieting at 249, 248, something like that. And so I've been dieting since January, man.
Wow. Now, are they keeping this low key where they're going to do this competition?
Oh no.
Where's it going to be?
No, it's going to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a North American Championship.
Let's go Steelers.
Yeah, yeah. It's the North American Championships. I'm excited for it. You know, I think being at least a big state winner, I think I got a pretty good chance.
September?
So I've been told.
Is it September?
September 2nd through the 5th. My show's on the 5th.
Wow.
So and then after that, I got we think that I'll win, and if I do, I never know who's going to show up. My ass can play dead last for all I know, but then we have 2 pro shows.
Okay.
After that, my pro debut. After that,
So this upcoming show, September the 5th, 2020,
right.
depending on how you place, you may go pro for the next show.
I will be. If I win this show, I will be pro.
So you're going to be a pro.
Jeez,
Then I will be. Then I'd be qualified for, not the Olympia, but I'll be qualified for. I won't even be qualified for the Arnold, but I'll be qualified for the smaller pro shows.
Really cool.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite colored bronzer you use when you're on stage?
Dark as you can. Man.
Dark as you can.
That's my favorite color, too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Now, you
Yep.
just said you were dieting for about, what was it, since
January.
So that's about almost 7 months now, right? Or 6
Right.
or 7. Yeah.
Yeah. But
So how do you, obviously the normal, I feel like where the normal person struggles in losing weight or just for anything is getting the discipline to stick to a diet. How do you mentally just feel the motivation? Obviously you have a competition, so you have motivation for that.
That's how I make money.
Yeah, but just other than that, how do you still at your age and everything, just even in
Just call
everyday
you old,
life
Joe.
out of
So
it,
strangle him.
No, man, that's all right.
just
man.
always keep that discipline, that drive, and that not wanting to slip up.
This is the thing is when I started bodybuilding. I started lifting weights at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been with me. It's been with me way more than half my life. I mean, it's. I always like to say it's embedded in my DNA, and so that drive has always been there. Maybe sometimes not to compete because before I won the Cal, it was 13 years, 12 years that I competed before that. And then before that one there was another 15 years. But I always trained and I always ate like a bodybuilder. I always competed. I always trained like a bodybuilder. It's just a matter of, between that time, a lot of things happen. You get married, you have kids, and that kind of goes on the back burner. And, but now my son's older. He's moved out of the house. And I'm free to do, I'm free to do it.
Yeah.
You got the resources, you got the time, you got, everything at my disposal. Now's the time to do it, even though it's later on in my life.
But you're doing it. And you're winning.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. It's a bucket list.
Yeah.
Okay, and even if I do turn pro, obviously at my age, I'm not going to make a shit ton of money, like these other guys are. But for me, it's just it's some
Passion, man.
yeah.
A lifelong passion, it sounds like.
Well, yeah. I mean, you never stop training. I mean, it's because we're.
It's who you are, buddy.
Well, it's like doing jiu-jitsu. It's discipline.
Yeah.
It's like anything. It's like anything you do, and you never give it up. It takes 10 years to become a black belt, 8 years to become a black belt. You're not going to give it up after.
Sometimes
you're not
longer.
And sometimes longer. But after you get your black belt, you're not going to give up and say, "Oh, fuck it, I got my black belt. I'm done."
Some people do, but no, it's not smart.
Yeah. So it's like me. I've been in the industry for well over 40 years. And,
Wow.
And
Since
so,
you're 11, dude.
yeah.
Definitely a black
You know,
belt in bodybuilding.
lifting-
I started lifting weights when I was still in the Little League.
It's amazing.
Sorrow belt.
Yeah, and beyond that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, he wrote the book.
Beyond black.
He was lifting before Arnold was cool. Yeah,
Well,
he's
it
not
was.
cool
Well,
again.
I shouldn't say that because it was Arnold. It was just like everybody else. It was Arnold, and and the movie Pumping Iron, the original Pumping Iron back in 1975, right?
Smoking a cigarette while he's training.
It wasn't a cigarette.
No, it wasn't a cigarette.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it clean.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's legal now, Joe.
No, but it's funny that you said you've been in the game for all these years,
Yeah.
and totally respect that. But I can just imagine a lot of huge names that people know, like me. Before our show started, we started bringing up Jay Cutler, we started bringing up Ronnie Cole,
Right.
some of Arnold, and then what's his name? What's his name that just passed away last year? Just
Rich
drowning.
Piana.
Franco Colombo.
Frank Colombo. That's just that shock. Well, I can't say it's wow. It is shocking to me, but yeah, just bringing up the history of all these guys that I didn't really look up to, but I known of them because I was trying to be like Mr. Tough Guy myself, muscle wise.
You succeeded.
Right. When the thing is
To see his look at his
I
face.
even go back even before that. You know the guys of Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
You mentioned George Eiferman.
George Eiferman. Yeah, I mean, I used to train at
Right.
his gym when I was probably, I was like
Right.
19, 20 years old with this guy. And he was an older gentleman, but he was a beast at his age.
Yeah.
And his daughter ran a small little tiny gym in Tustin. And I remember I going there and I was cleaning like, I think it was 845s on both sides of my leg presses. I was getting like deadlifts with like, I think it was like 445s on both sides doing, just boom. I mean, that's when I was young and I was
Right.
a beast, and they were impressed with my leg deadlifts because I used to lay back and said slap more weights, and couldn't slap more weights on the damn thing because it wouldn't hold that much weight.
Right.
So I had 845s on this side, 845s on that side, and somebody
845 pounds.
and I was just pushing, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
all day. And I always looked up to him until we had to move to a different city, and I didn't have a car at the time to go see him anymore, and that's the last I ran to George. This was like
So George Afferman, if I can interrupt, so he would probably be the generation before yourself in lifting and
It would have been, and
Okay.
which brings me to what I was gonna say when I got into it.
Okay.
The first gym that I told you I grew up in San Gabriel Valley.
Yes, sir.
Right. So the first gym that I ever joined was Bill Pearl's Health Club. I don't know if you never heard of Bill Pearl. No. Bill Pearl was the first guy to beat Arnold.
okay.
He was probably one of the only, besides Frank Zane, he was probably the only other one to beat Arnold. And if you look him up, he's former Mr. Universe, former Mr. America, so on and so forth. He was an icon back then. So the guys that I was fortunate enough to grow up in what was called the golden era of bodybuilding. Even before that, the guys like when you get into guys even before
Joe.
before Arnold.
Oh, forward. Okay.
Right. So there were guys back there. There was Arnold, and there was Bill, whose gym that I joined when I was 14 years old because I think I had to be 14 in order to join the gym back then.
Yeah.
And so if you look up in that era of late 60s and 70s, right, those were all the guys up until the 80s. Those were all the guys that I would look up to and get to know because they'd all go, because Bill Pearl's gym back then was like the Gold's Gym. Then it was a small little gym in Pasadena. And, but yeah, I mean, it was.
It's just crazy. Even like George's gym was very small, and I remember just looking him up, and then I was looking up even Joe Weider. Was that Joe Weider? Right?
Joe Weider was
the
founder of the IFB.
Fighter, yeah, and
Right.
looking up and doing history about him,
Right.
and how he made this thing huge.
Right.
It just amazes me. Like during that time, bodybuilding to me was kind of like a cool thing to do because I was a natural in lifting stuff around heavy, but didn't have the big muscle tone. I was
Right.
just a natural born kid, like just always big, and just did that, took it in, and just
Santa Ana
started.
Tacos will do that, dude.
No, it was all construction, asphalt, and wheelbarrows, and picks, and sledgehammers.
Back then though, there wasn't everybody. The bodybuilders back then, I like to think were a lot more versed in training because of what we didn't have.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about gear. So the generation before you, did they kind
I'm
of
talking about gym. I'm talking
Got
about.
it. Okay.
But no, we talk about gear. We talk about gear all day long. I don't care.
I'm just curious because obviously there's going to be some help.
Sure.
But was that something that existed prior to the 60s?
Absolutely.
Oh, so it's always been there.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure because,
Yeah.
people learn things,
Yeah.
and get there a little quicker.
Yeah, not as bad. I mean, not. I would say not as much. There were some guys out there, and you could tell who was, who would be taking the most and who wouldn't be taking the most, and what they were taking. I mean, I'll put it out here right now. At freaking 17 years old, 16 years old, there was a doctor in San Gabriel his name was Dr. Kerr, and he was the one that was supplying all the all the bodybuilders and stuff
Hooking it
like that, and here I am, 16, 17 years old, going into his office. There was no
No fear.
fear.
No repercussions.
Nope. And, You know, and that's where it started.
That's
But
amazing.
It started with a doctor.
Yeah, you can go to Tijuana like some people.
No, that came later.
Oh.
Yeah, that came later because I know you go to Tijuana, you buy the horse stuff out there, and then
Yep.
there's some stuff you take for that just because there's other stuff supplement you had to take for your.
But if you
not
don't
to
work
shrink.
out with that stuff, Joe, you know what happens.
No, but I'm just saying there's stuff you take out there too, so your pee won't shrink. Believe me.
Oh, good Lord, I
heard
don't know nothing
stories.
about that.
not to sound crazy, but I've known girls in the past that a lot of their boyfriends were either huge bodybuilders, but they didn't, because they didn't take the right supplements to make it.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
I thought it's just your balls shrink because you stopped producing natural testosterone. Like,
Well,
what's your dick shrinks from steroids? Like,
no, your dick doesn't shrink from
Yeah,
steroids.
I don't think they do.
But your nuts will atrophy because
Yeah.
there's no natural production anymore.
wow.
So when you
it's like, well, think about
It is
Vitor,
true.
like TRT Vitor. You know,
I don't know.
he was just like pumped
was
full
ripped,
of
I know
way
that.
more than natural testosterone.
Coming out with a mohawk and taking people out. You're
Yeah,
right.
but
That's
didn't
how I
be-
know.
did-
destroying.
Yeah, clear up that on me though. Didn't Vitor get a clearance from that though?
Yeah, it was very sketchy. Like, it
Right.
was very like.
He fought in Brazil,
Yeah.
so we'll check that.
Well, the
clearance.
way like it was like just.
Yeah, it wasn't like
it
a
was
it wasn't like a fucking 1 picogram type
No,
of.
It wasn't
was
Vegas.
right before. It was either right before, or right as USADA started, and they just like they eventually looked at it. They're like, "This is 4 times the normal 20-year-old like in shape male. Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, he's not. He's going way beyond TRT.
Way.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah.
and then that's one way to check it too. Look,
It was a whole
if
other
he
level.
legitimately had low T levels, it would show that
It was not low T with TRT.
No, it'd be no, because it would if they retested him and it was above. Now you got to remember too that an athlete's testosterone level is going to be higher than normal than the average person anyway, no matter what. You guys are probably higher than all of us put together right now, or because of your age.
Jeez almighty.
It runs in my family actually.
Now do you
know.
feel that it was right for
testosterone.
Major League Baseball to go after like people like Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa? Who else is up in that whole? What's his name? Big Hurt. But I don't think Big Hurt was ever like.
No,
He was a big dude.
No, he was no.
Jose Canseco. There you
Well,
go.
look, man, Canseco. if you go to a website right now, steroid.com, right? Canseco has freaking videos on there.
Oh yeah, come on.
But this is the thing though. It's and a lot of people want to say that that it doesn't happen, this and that, and that it was just McGuire and then it was just Sosa and so it wasn't. It was
everybody.
pretty much an even playing field.
My uncle, he played like minor league baseball and stuff. It was even there. Like they encouraged even him to take
That's how
Right.
you become a pro. You got to go
All the
minor leagues
time,
first,
yeah.
right? Sometimes.
That's where you learn. That's where they learn. Is just like it would be the minors. You get it from some random guy or whoever. It'd be like, hey man, you want to get bigger? All right, we'll take
Right.
this. You know?
Whoa.
Right.
Kids in high school, like where we went.
Yeah, where we went into high school, actually, a lot of kids took steroids in my high
that's
school.
fun.
They were probably taking the over the counter stuff. They were probably taking like a SARM or something like that.
Something like that.
Won't show
Something
up, that's crazy.
Something that they can get over the counter. They still have to be 18 years old, but whoever's selling it to them is going to sell it to them or whatever, right?
Whoever worked at Rite Aid at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's I'm not going to, definitely not my high school. I'll tell you that right now because I coach football, and but I could say if you get up in probably in Trinity League schools and stuff like that, you got I'm not going to mention the schools or anything like that.
No. We
Yeah,
won't mention
yeah.
the privilege.
I mean, one.
MGs.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. One. You get into Trinity League schools, most of them are going to be holdbacks anyway. So you might have, a freaking kid that's a sophomore who's going to be 6'5" and 270, who's 17 years old. Getting ready to turn 18.
Savage.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's just a big kid. That's a holdover. Right. Now, picture him getting on something and then getting shoveled off to a D1 school. Well, what's going to happen? He gets shoveled off to a D1 school, then NCAA starts testing him, right? He starts getting tested. He's got to come off. Performance goes down. He just shot his wad going to the NFL.
No bueno.
It ain't going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's basic math, but that's the path.
That's the path. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my high
Yeah.
school was never that good at football, so
What high school did you go to?
Lisa Nagel.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still new.
Yeah, I mean, look, I coach at Marina. We last year we won CIF for the first time in over 30 years.
You coach football?
Marina?
At
Yeah.
Marina? You know
Yeah.
Jeff Turley?
I know Jeff. I love Jeff. I'm the strength conditioning coach over there. I'm going into my 60s, 50s season.
Wrestler over there.
Who?
Shane Lerma.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually got second in league last year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Freshman.
Yeah, I've been training the team online. We've been doing Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Right on.
But there's just I'm not gonna lie, I get questioned all the time about it, and it's like I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's very touchy subject, especially when it comes to high school.
Exactly. And, I don't want to I don't want to talk about it. We won. I like to think of myself as a very methodical strength coach. I'm not your regular, typical high school strength coach that will just go and push you to the limit in the weight room. I'm pretty smart about it, because it's all about strength and power in football, and so my guys, they come out strong. They come out stronger. They come out faster, and we finally we went from a team that for the past 20-something years that averaged 1-9 and 0-10 to once we started getting our groove and changing the culture of Marina. That's when we started winning, and we finally, we won. One of the reasons why is because we changed leagues. We're not in Sunset League anymore, which for me, and if Jeff is listening right now and he knows this,
He's been there 3-4 years now, right? So he must have helped.
no,
with
Jeff
some
has
of
been
that.
there since 2015.
15. Okay, so
Yeah,
5 years.
He got there, yeah.
I remember when he got there. I know
Yeah.
Jeff a little while.
Yeah, and so that's when we had to change the culture of it because nobody believed in us.
Yeah.
Not even the faculty, not even
Sure.
the teachers, not the administration. Nobody. As a matter of fact, we were shit on.
So we're looking at some of the stuff.
And he's coming off of Wilson or Milliken or something like that.
He was coming out of Long Beach Poly.
Poly, okay.
He was supposed to be the head coach.
Okay.
Over at Poly.
Okay.
And then what's his name from the New York Giants? God, what's his name?
I forget the guy.
I can't remember, but he came in and just demolished the program.
Sure.
He ruined it. He bought from what I understand, he bought his way into the program.
I'm sure of it.
He got a 4-time Super Bowl. I think he donated something like $500 million,
that's
something
the
like
way
that.
in,
He bought his
exactly.
way in
Yeah.
and absolutely annihilated the program.
Earned it, man. He's the real deal.
Jeff should have been the head coach over Poly.
Yeah.
I
I love to hear that because I know him, and I'm going to send this to him. So, Jeff, you're getting a copy of this right after the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to send it to him. So, Big Joe's on here with us.
Yeah.
So this right here was actually next level.
That was the next level, yeah.
Wow.
So you see a couple of my guys.
This is next level. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
miss
crazy.
that place.
Yeah,
This is where I need to train, but too bad it's not open anymore.
yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, they had a taco truck out
So
up front.
freaking
You know,
homeless
Love the taco truck. That was my
Right?
favorite taco truck. I know my boss,
Robert, have you been by there at all?
I have.
Yeah.
It's still there.
It's
Is it like a homeless encampment there now?
they're-
I heard a bunch of homeless people were like
Very first.
give Robert the mic so we can hear him.
The first 6 months or so, it started to be like a homeless encampment. On the side where you had your training facility, they actually knocked holes into the glass and were sleeping inside. Then eventually they cleared them all out, and then they had some security. Then the post office took it over for not this past winter, but the winter before. They were using that as a hub. Then post office left, and then I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a giant staging company that stages all like conventions and stuff. Like they build.
Oh, I know what you mean.
GES. That's what it
Oh,
was.
GES
Okay,
is across
okay.
the street, so they took over.
Yeah, they took over.
Okay.
They had all their trucks.
The union guys.
And then, so we thought they took over forever. But then, no.
So they're not going to level and put homes in there like they were going to.
No, they can't because nobody's going to let them. The neighborhood won't let them.
They still can't get
Yeah, they can't get in.
zoning for it.
Yeah, but they did clear out all the courts. They did put security and cameras everywhere. I can't take a pee in the parking lot anymore without the camera. Because there's some days where, like, my son, me and my son are driving. We're like, oh, dude, I can't make it home. Okay, let's stop here because there's no cars.
Two
No,
Hawaiians
like-
taking a leak on the side of the
It's funny.
road.
But yeah, it's empty as of the last time I checked. Maybe
It's
a month
too
ago.
bad, man. That place had so much freaking potential.
Yeah, this
We
reminds
all
me
did
of.
good there. We all had a great time there, and there was more money to be made, and we just didn't get it.
I mean, the biggest problem that I had over there was,
Yo.
I mean, I had to put cameras up in my section.
Sure.
But before
a lot of equipment.
before I sectioned off the fence,
Yeah.
with the fence, I had people coming in and taking my shit.
They walk right through.
They walk
Damn.
through.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Thought that was rude myself.
know?
Yeah. And the back door is right there.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah, I know.
Remember that one time for like almost like a week there was like a really bad smell in our staircase, like, and then somebody
Was it a body?
no remember somebody took a leak in their clothes and they it was like piss or something. They threw it in the
God.
You
Makes
remember
for-
that, Joe?
it's a
We used to
great
come up and
topic
like,
for
what
the
is
show.
that?
Yeah. Now I remember. Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, they just took it off and threw it in the corner of our staircase.
Oh, Lord.
So we couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And the guys figured it out.
So real quick, you see Destiny, right? He was one of my Eagles players. I was fortunate enough to be one of the.
Big boy.
Yeah, he was the Eagles D. He was a D tackle. I was fortunate enough to get a couple of the guys from the Eagles to come over and train with us in the off season. Before they off season before they won, and then they came back after they won. So I was one of the very few facilities in the country that took the that had some of the Eagles players that won their very first in the history of Philadelphia Eagles won their very first Super Bowl.
That was crazy.
So, I'm not taking credit for it. I just thought it was a pretty cool trivial
I think
thing,
it's cool. There's some karmic tie with you in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You were going for your show in September, right?
Yeah.
You're doing business.
So this kind of reminds me of my buddy's gym out in Corona called Winter Circle. And
I know Winter Circle.
Yeah, that runs the gym. He used to
Right.
play for USC and
Right.
Yeah, and all those guys. But my boss's son, he actually went to Winter Circle. He played for Norco High. He's known as one of the top-notch quarterbacks named Shane Ellingworth. Now he got picked up for Oklahoma playing for the Cowboys.
Right.
And first year, so he's back in training. He's back in Oklahoma again. I think they're doing training again, hopefully, because during this whole COVID, he had to come back home.
Yeah.
But Winter Circle is pretty good too. I've seen on the Channel 11 News. I'm like, oh, I know that place.
Yeah, I remember we were trying to compete against it, and
really?
well, that was the whole thing. We were trying to build a school, some type of a charter school within the facility, and
yeah.
we had actually, we found it and we leased it, and some people came in and they were going to make a classroom out of it, then they couldn't get it going, and it's thank God it didn't have, because then we would have had all these kids in there, and then we were left high and dry.
Yeah, that's very.
They were basically squatting in there for 18 months.
That's crazy.
So I think what happened is they kept on going back and forth the court, trying to fight it. There was no way that they could have fought it, because they killed the lease in court.
Yeah.
Like
Done.
fucking 18 months prior to that.
Crazy.
So
People do that. Look at that. Chet
Now,
Congo
who
with
is-
the Joe
look at this
Local.
guy.
What do you mean, who is that?
No, I'm saying, look who this guy is.
We're on an
Like,
MMA show, and my buddy Joey the Bull says, "Who is
No,
this guy?"
look who it is.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
saying,
the
look
most
who this guy is.
so
the most like perfect physique like built for MMA. Who's that guy? Like
yeah. So I've been with Congo for 11 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were.
was that
friends. I
during the
didn't
Ram
realize.
or
Yeah.
which fight was it? Pat Barry fight?
I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
No, but I lost my voice during it.
Yeah.
I think everyone was.
Yeah, I lost my
That was
voice.
wild.
I forgot where. I think we were going to Palm Springs or some shit like that. And the fight was just about ready to start, and I had to stop someplace to go watch it.
Of course.
Right? I thought it was going to be a later fight, and it started. We're listening to it and stuff like that. Anyway, it started. I'm in this freaking pizza place out in the middle of fucking nowhere, screaming. And they're probably, what is this guy screaming at this guy for?
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Screaming for no
Passion,
reason. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it's just like I lost my voice. I'm just and
You're all hard, Joe.
But
Hey,
then
you're not a true
then
MMA
all of a
fan
sudden
if you haven't lost
he
your
pulled
voice
it out.
on that TV.
Yeah, he did. He did. That was a tough battle, man.
Goner when he crumbled like that.
Pat Barry, take your legs out.
But you know what? Barry wasn't hitting him with everything. He was like coming up. He was like, it's like he wasn't connecting. He was keeping him down, right? I'm not taking anything away from Congo. He took some hits. Those first two, he went down hard, right? And that's when I was freaking out, and then he came back,
Well, think about it. It's like you're in your first kind of minutes, so he's probably was just kind of feeling him out, just
Yeah.
like kind of getting used to that. For 1-2, it's like you're at such a height and range disadvantage, so you
Yeah.
kind of have to figure it out. and he probably caught one with the lucky one. He's like, oh.
I was gonna say, you remember that fight? You were like, third grader.
That fight was in 2010.
Oh, 10,
11?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Again,
because
I
Pat
do
Barry
nothing but
hasn't
sit
been
and watch
active
fights.
since.
No, and Pat was a strong guy too.
Yeah.
Pat, I mean, kind of reminds me of, not as good as Bader, not as technical as Bader, but he's a strong guy like Bader.
Sure. Compact though.
Right.
Had a very interesting philosophy about strength training and jiu-jitsu and just how the strength translates within like weights to jiu-jitsu. It was just like, it was something where he was talking about, he's just like, you get a similar like push-pull tension.
Right.
Oh yeah,
within
especially with
that.
gi. With gi, yeah.
Especially
Without a
with
gi,
gi.
Right.
Yeah. With no gi, you can get away with a lot more like speed
Absolutely.
and athleticism. Like, it's the whole reason I like to train it. And but there's definitely like when you do jiu-jitsu consistently, like some days it literally feels like damn, your arms are so blown out. It feels like you were just bicep curling like the biggest way you can find.
I train my fighters, and a lot of people used to train fighters hard with intensity, right, without thinking about too much about recovery. So, and this would have been years back, and I always did it the opposite. Recovery in my programs is very important because you're trying to build power, right? So if you're trying to build power, you want that rest time in between. If you keep on, like a lot of guys did, I'd watch it and stuff, and it'd just be repetition, speed, lightweight, and all that was doing is compounding what they were doing on the mats. And you want to do the opposite because you're not building power with that. And when you do something like that, it actually makes it very difficult to recover. Right, so the whole thing, I've always trained Congo with power, and as he's gotten older, I've had to change it a little bit, because he's still extremely strong for his age. He's 45 years old, but we don't train as heavy as we used to, but we still train. For example, my power reps are between 3 and 5. I don't go above that. There's some things that we do, and we have our off days. When we do our off days, that is, that's going to be our metabolic days. Is when we're going to run and things like that, right? But even when we do sled work, even the sled work that we do isn't long. It might go 10, 20 yards, and that's it. Then he might rest for 3 to 5 minutes in between that. Then we do it again, rest 3 to 5 minutes. Right, I mean, there's a science behind that, and the science is, when you're training for power, right, you have this hormone called ATP. So when ATP leaves the muscle, right, it takes 3 to 5 minutes to get back to rejuvenate itself back in the muscle, right. So that's why when you say for example, if you're doing curls, right, and let's check. So if you're doing bench press, you're doing 10 reps, 12 reps for bench press, right?
Yeah.
Then you rest a minute, right? Then you do another 10 or 12 reps, right? Pretty soon you start getting fatigued. We don't want to get fatigued during that training, because we're trying to build power. So the recovery helps when you increase the reps each week, or however the block is set up, right? That's the way we do it. And I've always done that with all my fighters. And
so during these like workout sessions, are they doing the same intensity throughout the workout?
No, we'll change. I have 2 to 3 power movements, and those 2 to 3 power movements are going to be anywhere from. I'll never do one. There's no reason for a fighter to do 1 rep max, but only in the beginning, because I do need to get their baseline, because I train them off of percentages. Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I train a fighter off of percentages, I know where he's going to increase at. I know how to increase him, right? So if he's at a certain, if he's at if his 1 rep max is say, as an example, 315 on squat, that's going to be his baseline. That's going to be his baseline. Then when we start the following week, after we get his baseline, then we start. His sets are going to be, first set's going to be, for example, 1 set of 5 at 55%. Okay, and then we'll go 3-3-3. So we'll go 1 set of 5 at 55%. Then we'll go 65%, 75%. Then we'll hit the 90 will hit the 90 mark. There's no reason for me to hit him at 100 mark. See John Jones, stuff like that, the way he trains.
Yeah.
Right. One, my personal opinion is he's got shit genes, shit form when he does it.
So he's gonna really?
Yeah. So one
Genetics are good. Form no good.
But there's this thing though is he's young enough to go where he can get away with that. He can't be training like that the whole time. Right, so if he keeps on training like his trainer keeps on training like that and doesn't take into consideration, hey, my fighter's getting older, it's time to change things up a little bit. You know, there's certain things I can't do with Congo that we used to do when he was, when he was freaking, 35 years old.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting.
Would it also kind of like, because you do see this within fighters that get longer in their career, like you said, John Jones is a perfect example. Start of the career, the most like wildest, creative, exotic flying knees, all this. Now you see him now, he's a little more like, a lot more.
He's getting older.
Calculated.
It's going to happen, Adam. You're going to get there too, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. he's getting older.
It's a fact.
Would like when a fighter kind of changes their style like that, do you also kind of change their training?
No, it has nothing to do. No, that's up to the coach.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to change his style and stuff like that, my job is to get him stronger, keep him mobile, right? Not get him injured, keep him flexible. Just strength conditioning coach.
Sure.
I'm not a fight coach, right? So whatever, But if the coach notices that he's getting stronger and he's more flexible on the mat, or or his knees are stronger when he comes up and kicks, or something like that, then that's it. Congo's fortunate because he's kind of like Jones. I put him in the same category as like John Jones and Anderson Silva, to where he's tall and he's got long levers, and he's very difficult. On the ground, I think he'd be very difficult. I'm fucking 5'6". He tries to get me down there, but I can't. I can't do that.
So, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, don't want to cut you off, but I'm changing the bull, no bull this today. We're going to say keeping it real with the bull today.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up 3 stories. You give me your opinion about these guys.
You're telling me we're doing a different bull and no bull. So we're going into Joey's segment. Joey has a segment where he tells stories. There's 3 stories.
Well, these stories are a little different. These are keeping it real with the bull now. This is a little different now. This is not the story segments.
So they're not the BS stories.
No, this is
no
keeping it real.
This
is a story. We're keeping it real with the bull. We talked about this early off the air, but I want to keep it real with this gentleman because he's been in the game for a very long time.
That tells me it's the same old routine, but we're going to roll with this, Joe.
First story.
Let's hear your story.
What do you feel?
It's not new to me. I mean, it's new to me.
I know.
First segment.
You've heard it all.
What
before,
are your thoughts and feel about Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, I see what you're
now or then.
Oh, okay.
Now
after what he did, I think he's an asshole.
Why do you think he's an asshole?
Because one, Arnold's out for himself, and what he did 3 Sundays ago, 3 Tuesdays ago, didn't need to be done. Okay, he came in. I told you we talked about this before. TMZ, had it out with a little bit at the guy at the front or whoever it was in the gym, says, "Hey, if everybody in the gym is going to wear the mask, then I'm leaving."
Wow.
Really? That's just...
So it's like, dude, you've been here since 1965. And, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but you wear the fucking mask, right? Because it doesn't back it up. It doesn't back it up. You got guys in there that's going to be training and stuff like that, especially guys that are training hard, right?
Pass out.
What happens when you take in your own carbon dioxide?
You're done.
You get poisoned, right? So for him to say that, it's like, and then you weren't here when I said this, right? I train at Gold's in Venice, right? 2 days later, after that incident, that's when the notice came down from Gavin Newsom to have all the gyms wear masks, or whoever it was.
Mandatorily, because they opened before you had to wear masks.
Right.
Early June, you didn't have to wear one. Mid-June, you had to.
Right. And what does Arnold have to do with this? Well, he still sits in the governor's board in California. So, from what I understand, he was the first signature on there. Then it was Newsom. Then it was some other
influence.
So now he knows what he feels about Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. Go feed your donkey with your dick. Anyway.
This guy.
As a bodybuilder,
Joey.
Bodybuilder, much respect.
Bodybuilder and actor,
Twins.
Get down. The
Twins,
tortillas
dude.
are burning. I get it. Whatever.
Yep.
I love Twins, dude. I could watch that movie over and over.
I love his movies.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. I mean,
We can
oh,
redo
Jingle
it.
All the
We got
Way was it?
Arnold
Yeah.
and Danny DeVito right here. Do our thing.
Yeah, it's just
Get down the chopper. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wear your mask or we all die. Okay. Anyway.
it's like fucking know your place, man.
Yeah. Of course.
You can't shut down the gym because you want everybody to mirror at.
Second one. What are your thoughts? We brought this up earlier. Mr. Ron Coleman. I know right now he's great athlete. The way he is nowadays. I mean, I feel really bad for him. I mean, what do you feel about that man? What he put on as a legacy as Mr. Olympia to where he's at now.
You know, to me, in my eyes, there's nobody around that was or ever will be as good as Ronnie.
No.
Never. I mean, to me, it's, you know, it just isn't. But the way Ronnie trained, I mean, he trained like a power lifter. You know, you've seen his 800 pound, but not just it wasn't an 800-pound squat.
God.
It was a freaking freaking 800-pound front squat.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
God, that guy was awesome.
You know,
Lightweight.
Yeah.
Lightweight, baby.
But if you want to see the way it kind of descended, it was, you know, I mean, he's had 10, 12 surgeries. He's got so much metal in his body right now. He doesn't look the same. But you know what? He doesn't have any regrets.
Do you
Works
blow
out
your
every day
intestines
still.
out? Do you get like a herniation from that much?
Sure.
That's where all that comes from.
A lot of guys,
Blow your shit out. I told you, Robert.
a lot of guys, you know, they'll get
gonna blow your
hernias, they
thing
get
out.
hiatal hernias, they get umbilical hernias,
Yeah.
and you know, and stuff like that. It's a lot of weight. I mean, look, it's, you know, true hardcore bodybuilding is not the healthiest thing in the world to do.
Sure.
You know,
It's tough.
it's tough, it's unhealthy, and but if you do it as it can be healthy, but if you do it as recreation, you want to train like a bodybuilder. It is the discipline and the training is, to me, better than any other training modality around. You know,
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
so I mean, as far as aesthetics go and stuff like that,
yeah.
and function. So
Function's important.
Yeah.
No mobility, no life.
yeah, I mean, I would never train an athlete the same way I would a bodybuilder. You know, it just doesn't work that way. So
And then third story. What do you feel about like some of these so-called wrestlers always tell you take your vitamins and say your prayers and all that stuff?
that's bullshit. It's a game.
All bullshit.
It's a game.
It's all game.
It's
I'm
yeah.
with Joe on that one.
Yeah, no.
Not Joey.
Well, I'm just saying, you see Hulk Hogan say your prayers, brother, take your vitamins, brother, and then somebody go have sex with my wife on film, brother, and yeah, brother, let me tell you something, brother. Oh yeah, let me rip my shirt and show off my 20-inch pythons, brother.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's great entertainment. It's great entertainment for the kids.
Yeah.
You know, if you have half a brain, you know, then you're an adult. You know that ain't.
Well,
the
I
way
was
it
one of
is.
those little kid. Well, I was a teenage kid buying the little Hulk Hogan weight set, and I used to say my prayers.
I'm saying
Take
adults.
my-
I'm not saying
Yeah, that was-
teenagers.
Yeah, but nowadays, yeah, but and then the fourth one. What do you feel about a lot of your guys out there? Do you feel it's a lot different from all your younger bodybuilding guys now that are pushing the shit out of all these so-called muscle builders to where you have some of your old fighters still representing what they represent by just eating right? Do you feel like a lot of bodybuilders nowadays that are young are full of, not to say because you're probably good friends with all these guys, a lot of them just full of shit and try to go too far with their bodybuilding skills, telling people to take this, take that, or you still respect the old school ways?
I mean, if you're talking about steroids and stuff like that, it's a lot more open than it was back
Yeah.
then. You know, I mean, you go back and even just as far as, you know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it wasn't talked about that much. Now it's a pretty open subject on, you know, as far as the industry goes. I mean, because everybody knows, especially when you see physique guys and you see classic physique guys and so you got the classic physique guys who might take a little bit, then you got the physique guys who might take a little bit, then you got the classic physique guys, which are in between the physique guys and bodybuilders who probably take a little bit more, right? And then you have the extreme, right?
Extreme.
Then you have the extreme, and it really is. It's a matter of where your passion lies. most guys that are, that are in physique don't go to, at least that I've seen lately, don't go to classic bodybuilding, which I told you, which is between the mass monsters and and the board short guys. But then then you have the mass monsters who are just those.
Some that are unfortunately not with us anymore, and some that are still
that's right,
hanging by a string.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, so far, it's nice knowing your history and everything about you. You get to know everything about what you do. Your competitions, like what you say, in
September 5th.
Look at this guy. Now, these injecting guys, I don't get it. I don't get it
either.
That's beyond the extreme.
That's just like you
Even
inject
the
your stuff with
surgery guys don't make
silicone,
sense.
right? Is it all silicone?
It's what's called synthol.
Synthol?
Right.
Oh my God.
It's what's Rich Piana. He didn't do synthol. He used to do what's called PMMA.
Oh, so
Why would you put that up? I don't want to look at that.
So if you find something with Rich Piana, that's
Rich
just
Piana
fucked
up
up.
there.
That's just stupid.
Yeah,
that's a mental problem.
That doesn't look
That's just
right.
crazy.
That's just a mental problem, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It just looks fake. It's just like
Well, it is.
I mean, it is fake, but it's just like it doesn't look like you're trying to look real.
People lose limbs from that. Most of these guys. It's funny. That guy right there, Brazil. I don't know what it is about the Brazilians. They love. They want the muscle and
fake booties and all that.
Right. And that's the way they do it. Rich. You look at Rich.
Love that guy, man. I don't know, it's just so sad. I'm unfortunate. I'm not to cut you off.
No. It is sad but he made a great company, and he still has a lot of people that are dedicated to his company.
That's a big dude.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's not. I mean, a lot of it's muscle, but most of it is what's called PMMA.
Now bring up Big Boy if you can.
Big Boy's he's a powerlifter.
That guy
is legit.
Him and his whole team was like I hate to be in prison with those guys and
Yep.
drop
We
the
know
soap.
what would happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to his gym down in Lake Forest, man, and that guy is no joke, man. His
I
whole
met these guys
squad,
before.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they're all tatted up, look like they're just fresh out of the joint, man. But these guys are really cool guys in person. They're really cool, really respectful,
Yep, they have a really good. I don't know if I want to call it a gimmick, but they have a really good. What do you want to call it?
Persona?
No. Well,
way they market themselves.
yeah, the way they market themselves, man. They know how
say.
to do it. So if you go to expos and stuff like that, man, they do it right.
And they're part of your neighborhood too, I think.
Yeah.
They live in your area.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, well, I saw Big Boy. He was at Metroflex in Long Beach on Saturday, and they have a big line out the door.
It's crazy. I love his gear. I love his shirts. They're just like gangster, but they're bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Always
they
seeing,
got
like-
they got the Lamborghini out there and stuff like that. And you go to the expos, and they're usually one of the biggest attractions at an expo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes those expos get kind of crazy. There's a lot of pushing and shoving those expos sometimes. You get some of those big boys together.
Yeah, go to the restroom.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Joey, take us out of here.
All right. Hey, folks, where can they find you on your social media?
Okay, Instagram, Joe_Marino62. Facebook, Joe Local. I'm not going to give you my private page because I get in too much trouble over there.
The fan page?
Yeah. Yep. And that's about it. That's it.
Awesome. Donda, where can they find you?
John Dondo on Facebook, Dondo the Gym Crasher on Instagram, and Gym Crashers and Free Admission Media and all that other stuff. So take it, Joe.
Adam,
take us out of here.
real quick.
Oh, Adam Araby.
Adam.Araby, on Instagram, and then of course the Fight Life Connoisseurs and Fight Life Connoisseurs YouTube channel. Just got some new tech in, got some upgrades coming soon.
And you can find me, Joey the Bull, at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those damn websites. And don't forget, Our Life CBV in the house.
The
Sean
best.
Lerma.
Sean Lerma's in the house.
One sec. Like us, please. Subscribe to us, please. Share the link, please. Thank you very much. We love that, and we appreciate you because we want to continue doing this.
And we'll see y'all next week. All pumped up. Joe, real brother.
Joey,
Suck me, I'm the fart. I'm kidding.